Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be giving you guys the first official update on my indoor aeroponic tower garden. We've had this thing for a few months now, and I did upload our unboxing and explanation of what the tower garden is. So if you missed that and you want to check that out, I'll have that link down below. But today I'm just going to be sharing, like I said, what these first few months have been like. It's brought so much joy and curiosity to my life, so I'm excited to share. All right, so first things first is how we actually made our plants, how we grew the plants that are in our tower garden. So we followed the instructions that came in the tower garden kit, and you basically just take these little rock wool cubes and you soak them and you let them sit in water for 30 minutes. Once they were done soaking, we dumped out the water, and then we took each cube and we decided where we wanted to place our different veggie seeds. Now, fast forward, this is actually something that we don't do with this much precision anymore because we found that we really didn't need to. But when we first started, we felt like we needed to create like a little map of what was in each cube. So we put the appropriate amount of seeds in each little hole. A lot of the seeds actually have directions on the back, so you know how many seeds to put in each hole, because sometimes a plant only needs 1 seed, sometimes it needs 4 seeds, sometimes it needs, 10 seeds. Usually it's in a range though. It's like, 3 to 6 or 8 to 12. And once we packed the right amount of seeds in each hole, we took some vermiculite, which is kind of like a rocky substance that helps keep moisture trapped around the seed. And we filled in each hole with the vermiculite. Side note, we ordered the extension kit for the tower garden. When you guys saw us install our tower garden, it only had the first few levels that come in the standard tower garden kit, but we knew that we wanted it to go taller. So Dan ordered and installed the extra just extension kit for the tower garden to make it a little taller and have a few extra slots. And he also ordered this little Velcro thing that makes it so that the cord on the tower garden attaches snugly to the center of the tower. So after our seeds sat, they sprouted a couple days later, and they grew to this height of about 2 to 3 inches after a couple of weeks. And when we started growing seedlings, it was the summer, which is an amazing time out here to grow them. So they grew pretty quickly outside on our patio. And once they reach that range of like 1 to 3 inches, really the directions say 3 inches, but we found that anywhere from 1 to 3 inches can work. You place the little rock wool cube into this little net situation that gets stuck into the holes of the tower garden. It's kind of like a little pod that holds on to each plant. And then now fast forward a few weeks, this is what we had. So it was kind of crazy to see them grow. Some of our lettuce grew huge. And at this point, we were still experimenting with tomatoes and cucumbers. This was actually a couple of months ago, because we really wanted to see for ourselves if the indoor lighting kit could sustain cucumbers and tomatoes. We grew some dino kale, and we just continued to watch everything and see how it would grow. Side note, this little baby basil plant, fast forwarding to today, is thriving and living its best life. Now, we did have a couple more sprouts that we were growing that just kind of sat at the bottom of the tower garden. You can actually leave the tray on the tower garden base to soak up light. Now, one thing we found with our tower garden, we definitely messed up the butterleaf lettuce. I don't know if I have clips of how bad it got, but we ended up not growing romaine in the future. But this lettuce, this mixed greens lettuce, grew like a champ. And this was actually my first cutting of the lettuce, because I heard that once it grows stable, if you cut the greens away, they will actually grow back faster and hardier. And let me tell you, this stuff ended up growing huge, very fast, very thick, and definitely the most delicious lettuce I've ever had in my life, and I'm not even kidding. And the amazing thing is, you don't even have to wash the produce that comes off your indoor tower garden, because you're not dealing with bugs, you're not dealing with dirt. It's so rad. Now, this video is called a diary for a reason. We failed pretty hard on our butterleaf lettuce. The tomatoes failed, the cucumbers failed, but I will tell you what did not fail, and that is our jalapeno plant. We have like 30 jalapenos growing off our jalapeno plant. And look at this basil. The jalapeno and the basil are our only plants that survived our first round of tower garden planting. And we actually had an issue one day where we unplugged the tower garden, forgot it was unplugged, and so many of the plants died. So that's kind of one downfall of growing inside, is if you unplug or you lose the power for an extended period of time, you could lose all of your hard work. But I feel like the same thing can be said for outdoor gardening. If you have a storm that comes through or something happens crazy, it's just kind of, what can happen. So currently in our tower garden, as you can see, I'm over the moon because we just transplanted some sprouts and we've got cilantro growing, which is going to be amazing. And then we planted approximately 15 heads of this mixed lettuce because that was our favorite thing we grew last time. By far. We didn't love the kale. The butterleaf lettuce grew very funky. It bolted. We didn't handle it right. And we're learning as we go, obviously. And then our basil. Yeah, guys, I have had some of the most amazing pesto of my life from this plant. It is so incredible and flavorful and just everything. And then look at these jalapenos, guys. This is unbelievable to see what has been able to grow inside and with relatively little work at all, because the tower garden does so much of the work for you. And look at the little baby. Oh, the baby jalapeno. Honestly, it's so cool. My favorite thing to do in the mornings, well, not my favorite thing, but what I do every single morning is get up and I check the tower garden right away to see what has grown overnight. And it's just so cool. I will say on a side note, we have some other sprouts that are still pretty small in the garden right now. And some of those sprouts are chives, some of them are lavender, and I can't wait to see how they grow, if they grow, what everything turns into in the next couple of months, because it's just so cool to watch and learn and figure out how things need to be pruned and trimmed back, just how to handle that. On a side note, in case you're wondering, this is the method that Dan has developed for us to fill our tower garden back up with water. He basically unscrews the head of the faucet on the sink, attaches a hose to it, and then we take the other end and we bring it over to the tower garden and fill it up with water. It's so easy to handle this way as opposed to bringing over jugs of water or water bottles. This has just been so much easier. And while the water filled up, I went around the tower garden with a rag. This is one thing that happens with this garden, is it can actually form little crystals around the tower and the openings and the spots where the tower has been put together. So I like to take my rag and wipe away those crystals just to keep it nice and clean looking and not run down. So I wiped everything off while the tower was filling with water. Side note, you may have noticed that we actually moved the lights out from the inner part of the cage. We started to find that if the lights couldn't be out far enough, then they couldn't properly light all of the leaves. It needed to be far enough away from the leaves for the plants to have a chance to really grow and flourish. Now, this is the part that can make the tower garden a little difficult, and if I'm being honest, Dan handles this, not me. It's this whole pH balancing situation and minerals that you need to add to the water to feed the plants, because obviously the plants are not getting soil, so they need nutrients. So this is the only thing that you have to continue to buy from Tower Garden are the nutrients that you put into the water to feed the plants. So he measures everything out, pours it in. And once everything is mixed, he tests the pH of the water. Apparently that's really important for the life of the plants to make sure that it's the perfect pH. Then Bowser came, because Bowser can't help but insert himself into every situation that's happening in our household. He's very pushy. He's very demanding. So, yeah, guys, that is it for my Tower Garden diary. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you are interested in purchasing a Tower Garden, I've had so many people reach out to me and ask. When I first found out about the Tower Garden, I didn't know that you can't just buy it in stores. You actually have to buy it through a distributor. And so when I bought my Tower Garden, I signed up to become a distributor as well. So if you want to purchase a Tower Garden, you want information on a Tower Garden, I have a specialized link that I will leave in the info box. You can just click on that. You can get all the information you need. And yeah, man, I love this thing. I will see you guys back here soon with another new video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.